How's it going? I hope everybody's having a good day today. It's Jake Reid coming at you guys as always here on the channel. We're coming at you with the continuation episode to what we did last time here in this Cincinnati Bengals Relocation franchise. So a lot of interesting stuff going on in this franchise. I know a lot of people that watched this video probably didn't watch the first video, so we're just going to go over a couple things real quick before we jump into the game. And first things first is we're going to go through the team a little bit before we go into the game. So in terms of what we did, I just want to recap all this real quick. So in the off season, we decided we were going to move Price over to left guard. We signed Skura, we signed Donovan Smith, and we signed Trent Brown. So this was our big focus in free agency, was just improving the offensive line a little bit, getting guys that were at least young enough that in 2 years, whenever we are actually moving to the new city or are in the new city, they'll be good enough to the point that we can develop whoever we start at quarterback at that point. So we kept Cordy Glenn. We moved him over to right tackle. Trent Brown, natural left tackle, so we signed him. We kept Jake Fisher as a backup offensive lineman. We kept Bowling, who's going to be a rotational lineman, potentially rotate in at some of these different positions, depending on how things go. Hopefully we don't see too many injuries, but this is the way the offensive line looks. We kept the backups in like Bobby Hart, Redmond, guys like that. So we improved the offensive line a little bit, and as you guys know, if you watched the first video, and if you didn't watch the first video, we're trying to do this very realistic. I'm trying to challenge myself a lot, so we didn't make big splashes in free agency. We didn't go out and get all the good guys, and there really weren't that many there to begin with. So we're really focusing on building the team through the draft, and we're not focusing on this season, but we're focusing on next season. So something I have to talk about is the fact that we did go out and trade a couple players away. You wouldn't have seen that in the last video if you did watch, because the video got cut off at the end. We actually drafted, interestingly enough, we drafted a corner. It was only like a 65 overall, but every time I went to click on him, it would give me an application error. And this happened like 8 times. And I reported it every single time because it comes up with the report option to say like, hey, you know, I experienced this issue, here's a video clip of what happened, can you maybe try and look into this bug and fix it? So I reported it every time, but it was the same guy every single time, and I couldn't even go in to release him, so we ended up trading him away along with some of the other players that we traded away. We ended up not bringing back Tyler Eifert, and I'll get to the trades that we did in a minute. Tyler Eifert we just let go to free agency, so we have Uzama and Croft at tight end. We brought in Jason Morrow, a guy that I like a little bit. He has some pass catching ability, but mostly a blocking tight end. Just a guy that can go both ways. Those are kind of the tight ends that I like to have. So we'll see what happens at tight end. That one's kind of up in the air. But like I said, we're not trying to be particularly good this season. We're trying to play for next season. So at offense, we're pretty much still the same in terms of halfback and skill positions. The thing that's unfortunate for us is that we do have injuries, pre-existing injuries on. So for whatever reason, Andy Dalton is still injured coming into week 1, so we're going to be playing week 1 in Seattle without our best offensive weapon. Now, it's arguable that Mixon at this point will be our best offensive weapon because we're going to try and run the ball more than we pass the ball because we have Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton, as everybody knows, he's up and down. It really just depends on the day, how he's going to perform, but we do have some threats at wide receiver. We still have Tyler Boyd, who is developing nicely in the NFL. We have John Ross, who is a freak in Madden, but we're not going to abuse him. We're not going to try and cheese. Like I said, I'm trying to challenge myself. And then we drafted Deebo Samuel, a guy that has some potential, could definitely fill in there and try and fix things up. So that's the way the offense is. We drafted a fullback here, Aston. Not anything of note there, but the one thing that is of note, as you guys can see as I scrolled over him, we drafted Will Greer. So we were sitting there in the second round, and a lot of the quarterbacks actually fell to the second round. But something I'm doing, like I said, trying to challenge myself, we're only picking players that are available and projected to go in that round. So it's very easy to cheese the system and just pick all the good players that end up dropping because the AI aren't smart, and let good players like Kyler Murray and all these guys drop that the draft class has as very good players with high potential or really high speed speed or something like that. So a lot of those guys fell. We chose to skip on them because we're not going to cheese the game like that. We're not going to pick all the good players that fall to us. So we picked Will Grier, who I think could potentially be on the radar of the Cincinnati Bengals, as a guy to develop into hopefully the starting quarterback whenever we move to whatever city we're going to move to. And before I go to defense, while I keep talking about what city we're going to move to yet, I don't know what the options are. I'm going to either look them up here soon, or I'm going to just wait until it gives us the option to relocate, and I actually can check that here in a minute. But when we go to pick a city, I'm going to get your feedback. I want you guys to decide where we move to. I want it to be realistic, so I'm going to give you guys an option between like 3 or 4 cities, which ones are realistic. Right now, I'm thinking Toronto's the most realistic. I know a lot of people are saying that the Bills could potentially end up moving to Toronto whenever their lease is up or whatever the deal is with that. But it could also be realistic for a team like the Bengals because we're up north. Cincinnati's been good to us, but we could use a change of scenery potentially. So I will be asking for your feedback, and if you guys have feedback right now, as always, leave it down in the comment section below. Feel free to leave a like on the video if you like the content, and as always, subscribe for more. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the defense. So defensively, we actually, as a team, we switched schemes. So because of the new head coach coming in, we decided that offensively we're running the Rams scheme because he's coming over as the quarterback's coach of the Rams. I don't know how realistic this is, but that's the best way I can simulate it. If you guys have a suggestion as something else to do, feel free to leave it down below, but they are a running team. So I figure it kind of works. That's what I want to do. I want to run Joe Mixon. He's the center of the offense. It's what the Bengals have failed to do over the past like 10 years or so, is really focus on the running game. So I'm going to switch that, being that we're transitioning to a new location. We're going to have a new identity. So we're just doing all around new things. Now defensively, as I said, we're switching to a 3-4, which is a new system for us. I feel like it fits us a little bit, and we drafted as such. So Josh Allen was our first round pick, ended up falling to us in the first round. A good outside linebacker that I think I can develop into a 3-4 pass rushing outside linebacker, a guy that I think will play pretty well. Our free agent pickup in the middle was Mark Barron, a guy that was drafted as a hard-hitting safety, but now transitioned to middle linebacker for the Rams. Was out there in free agent, so just kind of a filler position. I want to see what he can do. I want to see if he can lay the boom a little bit over the middle. And then we're keeping guys that we already have here. Preston Brown, we kept Vontaze Burfict, but we may consider trading him, depending on how things go with the linebacking squad. But we have decent depth here now that we brought in guys like David Mayo and Mark Barron to try and rotate in. Nobody particularly good. Like I said, we didn't make massive splashes in free agency. We're trying to do this realistic. We're trying to challenge myself. So that's where we stand with this. The Bengals have Malik Jefferson, I believe is his name. I'm going to get it right. Yeah, Malik Jefferson out of Texas. So we're going to start him early and give him a chance to develop as a pass rusher on the outside. But if he can't handle it, Burfict is equipped and ready to go at outside linebacker, or even Preston Brown for that matter, and rotate Burfict into the middle linebacker spot. We have lots of options there at middle linebacker, even though none of them are particularly great. But that's how things stand. On defensive line, we didn't make any changes. We traded away Dunlap, I believe his name is, and so we are sticking with Atkins in the middle. Andrew Billings is going to be a backup at all 3 defensive line positions. I know he's a big, like, true nose tackle type, but I prefer having, if I'm running a 3-4, I prefer having run-stuffing defensive ends as well, so we're going to go ahead and leave them in there. We have Sam Hubbard and Jordan Willis, I believe his name is, at defensive end positions. Both have quick potential. Jordan Willis is a guy that could rotate into the outside linebacker spot over here because of the fact that he has, I believe, 87 speed or something ridiculous like that for a defensive lineman. 87 speed, 89 acceleration. So he could potentially play that outside linebacker spot. And the reason I say that is we have Carl Lawson, who, in addition to AJ Green, is injured for 1 week, so injured for our first week. And when he comes back, he's going to take over one of these defensive end spots. And then I don't know what to do with these guys. One of these guys is going to start at the end, but we could trade one away. We could just keep them in the wings waiting in case somebody gets injured. But these guys both have quick potential. I don't see any reason to kind of leave them out of the lineup. Malik Jefferson only has normal, so it might make sense to move one of them to outside linebacker and play there. And then at safety, we obviously are starting Jesse Bates. We decided to hang on to Sean Williams, but by the time we move, we're probably going to make a change at that safety spot. And I'll get into some of these backups later, but we also decided to move on from Dre Kirkpatrick at corner and hang on to Darqueze Dennard. So we're keeping William Jackson and giving Darqueze Dennard the true opportunity to start on the outside. And then this is where things get a little bit interesting. Depth in terms of the secondary, there were a lot of guys there that were cut in terms of preseason roster cuts and everything, so we were able to pick up some decent guys that could fill in for us whenever we get to the new city, but I'm not sure exactly what we'll do, but it gives us options. So if there's any name that you guys see here that you particularly want to see have a shot at starting on the team, I'm not opposed to it, because like I said, this team is a work in progress. We're transitioning to a 3-4, more of a zone type of defense to try and challenge ourselves, so there's a lot of leeway here with what goes on. So I picked up Brian Allen, a corner from the Steelers, but a 6'3" individual, a guy that can definitely play ball. We picked up Monte Nicholson, a guy that I don't really know why he was out there in free agency, but I don't see any reason not to bring in a guy that has a high ceiling like Monte Nicholson does. 6'2", 92 speed, could pretty much fill in that strong safety position if we wanted him to, if we wanted to develop him. We like to bring in Alabama players, and we know Alabama players like to perform, so we brought in Tony Brown. He has high speed, 6 foot tall, to just play depth in the secondary. Moved him over from corner, as well as Brian Allen. Brian Allen's a guy that can play safety. We moved him to safety, and then at corner, depth-wise, in free agency, we also signed, I want to make sure I get his name right, Levi Wallace, out of Alabama, a big corner, and then Grant Haley out of Penn State. So a couple of young corners that could potentially find their way into the starting lineup. And then in preseason, Kevin Tolliver II out of LSU, a 6'2" corner, a pretty speedy, quick type of guy. I guess I shouldn't say speedy, I should say quick, because he has 93 acceleration. A guy that I think might be able to find his way into our rotation if we could improve his zone coverage a little bit. So interesting depth positions here. Not a lot of guys that I am familiar with. Like I said, trying to challenge myself in every way possible to make this franchise interesting. So bringing in a lot of guys that I'm not familiar with using, I'm not familiar with, but could potentially play in the new system. So we'll see how this goes. That's just kind of where we're standing with everything. Try and take this one to the edge. Depends on where a fullback blocks. And when we probably read that one wrong. We probably needed to take that inside, and we did not.
Well, usually you don't think of the cornerback coming in for a no-gain play, but that's what we had there. Nice tackle.
And how about the range, too? Coming from the outside part of the play, moving his way into...
Nice little secure throw for Dalton over the middle to Uzomah for 8 yards. Hopefully you guys are still able to hear me. I have the game volume set a specific way so that it's a bit more of a realistic experience. You can hear the crowd quite a bit. We're going to look for potentially Deebo Samuel coming across the middle here. And Deebo Samuel, with his first catch in the NFL, catches it, runs for 10 yards, and fumbles the ball. Be interesting if that's an indication of how this season's going to go. We're going to come out with a little bit of a blitz early. It's going to be a corner blitz. We are going to stack the box here. And the corner blitz gets there. Darqueze Dennard, coming off a fresh contract, gets a 7-yard sack there for the team. That's a nice thing to see. We're just going to call a base cover 3 here and try to do our best. I want to get to this linebacker. That's not the linebacker. Hubbard, I believe it was, gets in there in the backfield. We're not even blitzing here. Their O-line is just bad. So we might... That was a weird voice inflection there, but we might be able to come out of here with a positive result. If that O-line doesn't buy him time, I mean, we have the pass rush ability to really put pressure on. At least I think we do with some of these young guys. We are going to have John Ross back to return. We are playing a little bit of shorter quarter lengths. That way, hopefully, that kind of helps a little bit with the timing of the videos so that they're not as long for you guys. Like I said, I want to make this as viewable for you guys as possible. Trying to get blocks. Joe Mixon's able to power up on a second effort for 2 yards, but not a good looking run there. Like I said, familiarizing myself with the playbook, so this is going to be a lot of adjustment here. I'm trying to do a stretch play, maybe get to the edge again. I wanted to cut that one in because I thought we had the block and we did not. So Joe Mixon having a tough day already. Whole offense having a tough day. And Andy Dalton tries to throw to the flat, and Earl Thomas, that is somebody that will have to move to another team. Comes down, reads it, and picks it off. I tried to lob that one up and over a little bit, and Andy Dalton underthrows the pass. And that's a tough break. An early interception for Andy Dalton. Might actually result in Will Grier coming in if Andy Dalton doesn't perform well enough. We do want some time for him to sit there in the wings and really study behind Andy Dalton. We don't want to have to bring him in right away, but it might be the result. Andrew Billings with an injury. Not a crucial one for us, but certainly going to hurt a little bit. We are going to go with a man coverage here for the first time in the game. We haven't run man coverage a whole lot yet, but I want to press up on these guys. Mark Barron comes up and gives a nice hit on Javorius Allen. We're going to force a... we're going to keep Andrew Billings. We're going to force a kick here on the second drive off the interception. I almost jumped that in time to block the field goal. Weren't able to get there. That's going to be 3-0 Seattle at the end of first. As you can see so far, offensive struggles like I predicted would happen. New playbook. Blocks not working the way I quite expect them to. But 3-0's not a bad result after that. And Pollard, I believe his name is, the rookie that we brought in to kick return. We're in Ocho Cinco's number. We're going to go PA Scissors, try and get somebody open going out. Good catch, Uzuma. Good catch in traffic. That gets us up over the 50-yard line to the 35. We'll call a halfback dive here. There's some space in the middle. We had a gap, and Donovan wasn't able to secure the block there. It keeps wanting us to run the halfback blast. Like, is that the only running play in this Rams playbook? It's interesting to me. Really bringing guys down, so... They're just playing, they're playing run. They know our strategy. They know we're coming out here trying to establish the run, and they're just stopping it. John Ross, we're going to try and get you the ball, potentially. And John Ross gets absolutely laid out trying to make the catch over the middle. Oh, I'm not sure that that's the decision I want to make. I think I want to go for it here. I mean, we're on the 34. If I can't make a field goal there, which I probably can't because of the fact that there's so much wind, we're gonna go for it, because otherwise it'll be like a punt. Is there anybody we can put on a curl? Like John Ross, maybe? Bobby Wagner does a nice job pass down to Deebo Samuel. I want a zone blitz. I'm just gonna go cover 3. That's not gonna work. Maybe it will. Oh no. Alright, we got a nice block shed there. Seattle's offense is struggling. I think that that's helping us out quite a bit.
How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And getting this just shy in midfield, they'll spot it at the 40.
That's going to be a nice completion by Wilson to Swoops, who I believe is a tight end.
As far as tight ends go, this guy's not a speed burner. He's much more of an inline blocking type of a tight end. But how about this last play? Made a nice catch.
More screen plays here. Seattle playing the short game. We'll stop. I'll take that all game because our defense has stopped that. I mean, we're sitting back in zone, so they're just sitting there. They're not manned up on anybody. Levi Wallace is going to come on a blitz to the edge here.
They expect you to play right away, and the community's eyes and fan base, they'll be on you the entire way.
They added a lot of talent to a roster that really needed an infusion of youth. They got a very good infusion.
We're going to get the tackle, force a 3rd and 3. Want to do a bit of a blitz. So we're gonna have to start dipping into concepts here. Some blitz 3 deep, maybe? Yeah, Will Buck press, something like this. Oh, it's gonna have us in a man. Who's that? That's Sean Williams. Alright. On the play action, our corner is gonna get burnt. Darquez Denard bit on the play action. I believe that's Tyler Lockett. Yeah, Tyler Lockett over the top. We really can't compete with that speed. I want to take a quick look at that replay because I'm pretty sure that was Darquez Denard either biting. Oh, he bit on a double move. Yeah, I mean, Lockett's just a better receiver. I can't complain about that. If he was in a zone coverage, he wouldn't have bit on the move. For whatever reason, I didn't get a playoff, and the game chose to put us into a man. So I just tried to roll with it, and it didn't work out. That's going to put us down 10-0 here in the second quarter. 2:53 left. Gives us opportunities to try and get something going. We're just going to try and do like a dive or a stretch play maybe. We got to get something going in the running game. We can't be so predictable.
You try and heighten your play a little bit. So far, he's thrown 1 interception. He wants to balance that off with at least 1 touchdown pass in order to get his team.
Still doing a good job of playing down low. We're gonna have to back them off quite a bit if we want to get the run game going. We're gonna go bench. Now let's see. Now they're going. We'll go here. I'm gonna go to Boyd here. Let's try and go to Boyd. Oh, and Dalton makes a nice throw on the run. Tyler Boyd powers his way up to the 45. Should give us an opportunity to score before half if we don't botch it again. Oh, this might be a good one for a stretch play. Oh, too bad the audible's not a stretch. Joe Mixon on a 3-yard carry. We're going to go back to the stretch, try and do it one more time. We might hit him with a counter at some point here. It's going to be about a 3-yard gain. 8 rushes, 10 yards. Not looking good at all in the run game. We are playing Seattle. They do have a good front seven still, even after all the issues that they've had in recent years. Uzama is how they pronounce it. So we got Uzama there. We're gonna burn this clock down, live to fight another day, and punt it away. Definitely gonna try and punt it to the sideline. Put backspin on it.
You see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
We just really don't want to let them score before half. That's a great punt. We might be able to get a safety out of that if we play our cards right. That puts them at the 4. We're gonna go heavy formation, and we're gonna go a blitz out of it. I don't really care what the blitz is. Got man on man on Lockett. Or Lockett, however you want to say it. It's a good play by Allen. Josh Allen, the rookie. Alright, we're going to try and dial up a blitz here. So we're going to go nickel, box slant 3. We got to try and generate some pressure if we want to get this safety. That's going to be Wallace and Brown. We're going to switch that because I want these guys blitzing. Ooh, it's going to be a run. They're going to call a timeout. I think they think they're going to get the drive going here.
45 seconds to go in the first half. From the gun on 3rd down, Wilson.
I thought we could have stopped him there right along the line. I told him to play line of scrimmage, or sorry, the line to gain the first down marker, and they weren't able to cover it. It's not as many zone blitzes as you would think. I wonder if Sean Williams come in off the edge. That's going to be a penalty because I guess he went out of bounds, came back in and caught it.
But he is able to keep the feet in bounds.
Illegal touching. Offense.
That'll help us out a little bit. Own 15, own 16. Actually, that's not going to help us out at all.
And they'll let that play, the completed pass, stand as they decline the penalty.
So do you get the sense they like their defense?
Yeah, they wanted that.
Oh, I didn't mean to decline that, but...
Worried about the yardage there at all. Just what you said. Let the downs trickle away.
After the penalty, it's Penny. And good yardage as he gets this one up to...
Call timeout here. We might be able to get the ball back. Getting the ball in John Ross's hands is never a bad idea. We're gonna go with we're gonna go nickel double A gap, but we're gonna go buck zone blitz. I don't know if they're gonna try and run it or what they're gonna do. Yeah, they're gonna run the ball, so they're just gonna be able to run the clock out. Unless they really try and pass it here. They call a timeout. They might be playing a little bit of, might be playing games here. No reason not to accept it. I mean, our defense has only allowed 10 points. As bad as our offense has played so far this game, defense playing pretty well. No complaints there. Obviously, the Seahawks offensive line isn't the best in the world, but I certainly can't complain about only allowing 10 points, especially off that interception whenever they intercepted it like right there in the red zone. And we only allowed a field goal on that drive.
As we send you cross country.
We're going to skip halftime highlights because there's not much to look at.
Get right back to the action here in the third.
And unfortunately, we got to kick them off the ball.
We'll see if week one fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. This is taken as full.
And Brown, I believe John Brown? It's got to be John Brown. 38-yard kick return. Nice play on his part.
Get ready to trot out on the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half.
We thought we had the right blitz dialed up there. They ended up passing against it. It's a nice 9-yard gain on their part.
Any adjustments that might be made defensively.
We're going to switch this one to man and tell him to press up. Yeah, we saw that one coming. They've run that play like 3 times already. We're going to go big nickel, try and dial something up out of here. Mike Strong, safety 3. Definitely not the side we want to blitz that from. Our D-line does a nice job of batting Wilson's pass, so we're going to force a punt here off that first drive in the second half. That's a good result. We need to close this gap if we want to have a chance in this game. John Ross always gives us a shot. I was trying to break out back-to-backs, juke moves there. Wasn't able to get him off, but he gets us up to the 25. Someone was injured. Not sure who that was. We're looking for Samuel. Deebo Samuel, decent little 5-yard gain there. John Ross is injured. It's not that critical. We're going to take him out for now. It's not that critical. Deebo Samuel drops an easy, what I would think would be an easy catch there.
Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there.
You nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously, one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two.
Try and see what we can do here. Try and get the ball into the hands of our running back. Deebo Samuel fumbles twice. That's 2 fumbles in 1 game for 1 guy. That is not the best start for our rookie wide receiver. He's just getting hit stick left and right.
And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second.
This one's going to be a pass, guys. I'm calling it here already.
It's
going to be a false start. That better be a false start.
And we'll check out the call.
False start, offense.
And maybe they were coming with a blitz that time, and it caused a jump.
I think if we saw it, you know that they saw it. Might have been a little discussion down there. Bad guys coming. Pick them up. Pick them up. Someone jumped.
Now it's Wilson. Inside the 10.
Not caught. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. He dropped that ball.
No doubt about it.
I watched him drop that ball.
This feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball.
That's not a catch. 1 foot, 2 foot. The second foot was out of bounds anyway. And then the ball's pulled out. That one was not a catch by any means. Both facets of that were not a catch. How? How are you going to call that a catch? Madden. Okay, I have an objection to this. Look. 1 foot. Okay, second foot's down. Okay. I can see why from that perspective you would call it a catch. But at the same time, he ripped the ball out. That's incomplete. That should be incomplete, in my opinion.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout.
Well, it's not going to let us pick a play now.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player. You threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
Alright, you guys are going to press up coverage. We'll do our best to get a sack or something here. Press coverage didn't work. Lockett gets open for his second touchdown on the game. We're just getting dominated here.
And the fumble recovery leads to 6 points for the Seahawks. Still plenty of time left in the game, but now starting to pull away.
Not sure that there's enough time for us to come back from a deficit like this with how bad our offense has been. Like I said, we're building for next season. We're not going for a winning season this season necessarily.
Second half, no matter what, well, his first 5 minutes, first 3, whatever, this was a big score to start the second half.
So here's Dalton and the Bengals now, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They'll try to get the run game going. This is Mixon.
Well, we finally got a 5-yard gain. It's just impossible to get past Bobby Wagner right now. Bobby Wagner's all over the field.
Just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Look at that! No blocks. Blown up in the backfield. I don't even know what to do at this point. We can't do anything. Tyler Boyd, hoping you can get open. We had him open and Dalton gets hit as he throws. That's the story of the day. And we keep punting into the wind. Seattle's just outplaying us in every facet today.
A good return there, call it 13 yards.
I mean, my goodness, it takes the punter to come up and actually make the tackle. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go slow speed. And we're going to just watch our defense play for a little bit. See if they can do anything. Interception might be nice. Doubting it though. Penny makes a move. I think that's Bates comes up and makes a tackle. Whoever 36 is, that might be Williams. Not familiar with the numbers on this team. Yeah, 36 is Williams. Now they're coming out to run the ball. Yeah, that one was an obvious run. I saw that from a mile away, and we're not able to stop it.
Now they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially with the deep.
Massive holes now for their run game. When we hit the fourth quarter, I might switch back in and play some defense because we're getting blown off the ball now. I can't complain too much. I mean, we switched personnel and switched system.
We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
I definitely feel like I need to turn the announcers down. They're a little bit too loud, in my opinion.
In Seattle, Washington.
We're getting blanked.
Here's 1st and 10.
Don't worry, guys. This is exactly how we figured this was going to go. I didn't think we were going to come into Seattle and get a win. Not with the team that we have as is. But next season, once we have the draft capital and the available cap space, I think we'll be building a pretty competitive team next season in the new city.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football.
That's a screen play with blockers out in front. And Buck Allen makes some moves and gets in for an easy touchdown. 23 or 24. We're just going to sim the extra point. 24-0 in our first game here. We are down Carl Lawson, we are down AJ Green, but I don't even know that they would have helped us at that point, to be honest with you. We've just played poorly in the new systems. Like I said, guys, I'm doing my best to challenge myself this season. You guys have seen me on this channel beat AI teams 70-0 before, so I wanted to do my best to be a little bit realistic, but obviously not working out quite as I planned.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Now Dalton.
Tyler Boyd with a good catch in traffic. We can rely on him, that's for sure. The two fumbles by Deebo Samuel, those hurt us the most, I think. There's not much we could do about those. We had him open in the middle, and then he dropped them both. I'm questioning even giving him the ball again, but it's going to be a hold or a roughing the passer. Seattle brings Dalton down a little bit late there. We're going to get the benefit of a nice call. They'll try and run the inside zone split. Maybe get some blocking here for Mixon. We're going to get the benefit of 2 penalties in a row here. That was an obvious face mask.
So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it is going to be 15 yards.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Throwing, Dalton. Throw left side, complete to Ross. And he'll be brought
John Ross with a decent little catch.
It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and it'll be 2nd and about a yard to go for the first.
Always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver, that makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as...
Joe Mixon getting us in range. We might be able to score this game and not get blanked. Let's hope we don't make any stupid decisions and throw a pick or anything here.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be...
Actually, I do kind of just want to do that halfback dive. I want to put points on the board. I want to secure the ball. I don't want to throw a pick here, that's for sure. That should get us down in range for a, 1st and goal. We're going to try and do a stretch play here to the outside. We want to put some points on the board here. Getting blanked. I told you guys it'd be an interesting challenge for me switching these systems like it is. I hope that you guys enjoy the series because I'm actually challenging myself in this one. I'm not just beating the AI super easy like I normally do on all Madden. I switched it up so the team's not as good. Systems I'm not used to. I can't just cheese the same plays that I normally rely on. So
now Dalton will lead the Bengals to the line as they'll come up and go for 2.
yeah, we're just going to go halfback slam here. Hope for the best. Maybe dive over the top if we can.
They'll try and run it up the middle. And he gets halfway there.
And Joe Mixon's going to go down with an injury as well. That's not going to be good for us. If Joe Mixon goes down, next game we'll have AJ Green back, but we'll be lacking some power there in the running game. The two, You can sum this game up by the two fumbles by Deebo Samuel. I think those fumbles really hurt us the most. With that being said, not a whole lot of point to play this out. I might cut this out of the video later. We're just going to simulate out the rest of their possession, and they're going to burn out the clock. So a very tough loss for us week 1 here in transition going to the new city. Hopefully after this I'll have an option to go ahead and at least start the move. I don't know what cities we're going to look to, but if you are watching this, please leave your feedback down below what you think we could do. Let me know what you think we should do with the team. Any feedback you have, really. Any players you want to see on the team, whatever. Everything's pretty much up for grabs at this point other than Will Grier. I think we are going to start Will Grier at some point. I just don't know when. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't expect to go into Seattle and get the win, but that's a tough loss for us, especially with Deebo Samuel, the rookie, having 2 fumbles in his first ever game in the NFL. Relocate. Yes, so we're going to begin the relocation process. I don't know when it gives us the option to pick a new city. Going to check with the cities, see if anyone is interested. Keep an eye on your things to do in a couple of weeks to choose a city. I think it hits like week 5 or so. But if you guys know what cities there are, I know that there's articles out there saying all the different cities. I just don't know them off the top of my head. I know I've relocated multiple times. But if you guys know where you think would be ideal for the Bengals to relocate, please drop it down in the comment section below. And I'll be sure to check those comments out and take all your feedback into account, because I am letting you guys decide basically the direction of this franchise, what we do with it, where we go, where we move to, all those different things. So please leave all your feedback down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the game. It wasn't a pretty one. It was in Seattle, so it's a tough one for us. Let's look at our schedule moving forward. We have at the Jets, which is definitely a game I feel that we can win. We can get a win there. We're going to be playing at home against the Ravens, which is certainly one we'll have an opportunity in. But it is the Ravens. Ravens are a tough opponent, and the Browns will be a tough opponent, especially being in Cleveland and then Jacksonville. So a tough first 5 games here. Hopefully the schedule gets easier as we go, but I don't see us having an incredible record. I don't see us having an incredible season, but that's all going to plan. The plan is next season is where we make our big moves. Next season is where we build the team to a competitive level, and next season is where we bring in the big names to try and sell some merchandise and try and do this a way that makes logical sense for a relocating team. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys, as always, in the next episode. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video if you have not, and as always, leave your feedback down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.